It's like, oh, this again, you ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing. Oh, they say something to me. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's like you're living life as if there are no consequences. You're also living life as if you're in control when really people are controlling you. See, a huge part of being a leader and being emotionally intelligent is being able to control yourself in intense situations. And for some reason, in the world we live in today, it's the person that's out of control that thinks they're in control. I think this is a huge reason why there is so much violence, you know what I'm saying, in the world. And when you think about, you think about being in a hood or something, and like, it's always that person that's like, oh, ain't nobody gonna test me. I shoot. It's like a person that'll shoot anybody. And it's like, bro, like, you can't just go around shooting everybody. It doesn't make sense. You're not in control. You're actually being controlled, and you're losing your cool, and you think you big and bad because any and everybody can make you lose your cool. It's not you. It ain't you. Is it me, y'all? Like, what y'all think? Like, is it me, or does the person that lose their cool think they in control? All right, so when we think about being emotionally intelligent, it is about being able to manage people, manage various personalities, understand yourself, control yourself, and ultimately, as a leader, you're making the better long-term decision. Look, this wasn't even what I wrote down, but a leader has to have the ability to think beyond the short term. Now, remember I told y'all I was reading some book or some article, and they talked about a lot of people in prison doing 30 plus years in prison because they lost their cool for 1 minute. Now, I want you to think about that, bro. Somebody lost their cool for 1 minute, pulled their gun out, shot somebody, and now you in prison for 30 years. Losing your cool doesn't produce good results because you're in prison. Now you're in chain. I don't care how tough you are. I don't care. Like, yeah, you really told them. Yeah, you really told them and lost your life. Leaders need perspective. In order to have, to think about the long term, you have to have perspective. Here's the point I'm making. You see this a lot, in the hood. You see fathers as an example. You a father, you in the street, and you got your kids, and you love your kids. Like, bro, you out here in the streets. You might be in the streets trying to make money for your kids. Look, I'm not here to judge you. I just want to love you. I just want to tell you God is above you. I'm just trying. Why am I rapping? I don't know. What's my point? My point is that father, you see so many fathers go out in the street and make decisions based on their pride, based on their reputation of the people around them, being tough. Oh, yeah, respecting the hood. Oh, we can't let him do that. Like, oh, he the op. You can't do that. You ain't going to look at me no kind of way. You ain't going to do this. I'm going to show you. And then go to prison because they lost perspective, because they were basing their decisions around these people. And meanwhile, they got 4 kids at home and never thought about the kids when they pulled out the burner. Emotional intelligence will have you think about the proper things in the right perspective when you're making decisions. Specifically, y'all, this is why emotional intelligence, I can talk, people. I can't talk. Emotional intelligence is dope because it's super necessary in intense situations. So there are some people that worship their emotions. What do I mean by that? Like, I meet these people all the time. Some of y'all are in my comment box sometimes when I make posts. Your whole life is guarded and guided by your emotions. You worship your emotions. You worship however you feel about something, and you make however you feel facts, right? And the problem with that is that it's not facts. Just because you feel a certain way isn't facts. It doesn't make something factual, and it doesn't mean it's the best decision. I'll give you an example. You see this all the time with road rage. I've literally seen people pull out bats, fight for traffic. It's always interesting to me because we ain't talking about an accident happen. We talking about every time I see somebody overreact. I've seen it 2 or 3 times in my life to traffic. There was never actually anything that happened. Meaning, I understand if you want to, I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say nothing violent. But I get if somebody hurt you, somebody in your family, and you react a certain way. But you be having people that cut you off and you lost your mind. Lost all intelligence because somebody cut you off and you literally can't control yourself. And so now you're in this match with a person. Y'all going at each other, trying to see who the toughest in traffic. That is weird to me. Number one, you don't know who you driving next to. What if that's John Wick in traffic on his way to handle business? Business. What if you driving next to John Wick? The crazy thing about traffic is like people be overreacting in traffic. I'm like, you don't know my man. You don't know old girl. You don't know what they dealing with, whatever. And I believe that emotional intelligence allows you to properly vet a situation and say, that's not worth my time. Even if it's worth their time. When people try to get at me in traffic, I just keep it moving, bro. I'm like, you don't know me, I don't know you. Like, at the end of the day, one of us cut each other off. It could have been an honest mistake. Maybe I was wrong, bro. But, I mean, we lived, and I don't know what you want to do. Fight? Like, because that's silly to me. It doesn't make sense. So, you have, like, emotional intelligence is about a long-term decision. And I'm talking about this because I want us to be thinking about long-term decisions and how we react to things. And it's what we say, it's what we do, it's how we respond. And we have to stop giving people and things control over our life. Because if you out here living in life and all somebody got to do is roll their eyes at you and you lose your cool, you're not in control, fam. Like, you are not in control. You think you are. Because you think you're the one, the aggressor. It's like, no, like you're the crash test dummy. That doesn't make sense. You're going to do something that's going to hurt you or the people around you. Your kids would much rather you make good decisions when you driving to work than to go out and try to prove to everybody in traffic that you tough. Growing up, I really loved Bruce Lee, dog. Like, I was a Bruce Lee fan growing up. Any Bruce Lee movie, like, I just love Bruce Lee's style, right? And I remember at first it used to confuse me as a kid because, you know, you thinking like, yo, if I know karate, I'm trying to fight. I'm trying to hit you with the drag. Like, I'm trying to do all. Like, if you know karate, I'm trying to use it. And I remember Bruce Lee was the type. Bruce Lee, like, fam, like, no, like, I know karate. I don't want to fight. Mr. Miyagi, Daniel-san, do not fight. I'm like, Mr. Miyagi, if you don't let this man stop washing cars and beat the brakes off of a person. But what I love about it is there's a level of emotional intelligence when you don't have to go around life trying to do things to prove everything to someone else. When you are managing you. When you have you under control, because you know how to, again, it ain't that you don't feel the emotions, but you know how to manage the emotions. You know how to properly make decisions based on the things that actually matter so that in the long term, you end up in the destination that you want to be. Because I don't know that nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I want to go to jail, but yet people go to jail every day because they made a split-second decision that was the wrong decision. And what I'm saying is emotional intelligence is about managing you. And I believe in accountability. I believe in looking in the mirror before I look out the window. That means I believe in looking at myself before I believe in looking out and pointing the finger at everyone else. And a huge part of looking in the mirror is saying, am I managing me correctly? Yes, there are some things that happen in the world that I don't like. Yes, there are some people that might have did me wrong or some things that are not to my advantage. But I can't overreact to every little thing that happens in life. I have to properly vet and manage the situation. And I genuinely believe we are in like an emergency, an emotional emergency, because I think people are just so used now to just making rash decisions where they just act off how they feel. And again, people literally think how they feel is facts. I'm telling you, like, just look at my comments. Sometimes people argue and it's like, your emotions aren't facts. And I want to say this, even if something bad happens, so you take like, I always try to talk about the racial tension of the past few years because I think it has such a grip on people. Like, racial tension has such a grip on people. And when I'm in conversations with friends, family, whatever, it's like, I'm always challenging people because I'm like, bro, like, I mean, I know that happened in 65, but like, you was born in 85. Like, I'm not saying that that's not facts and that don't make you feel some way, but it doesn't mean that you should act on that emotion. Just because the emotion is real doesn't make what you want to do a fact. And it doesn't always, okay, let me try to think of politics is a good one. Politics will get your emotions going real quick. Politics, I look at people and I love like looking at Trump because I'm like, yo, the people who love Trump, they love Trump. But the people who hate Trump, they hate Trump. And I'm like, yo, are we all this emotionally charged that we can't even properly vet him anymore and say, this is what's good, this is what's bad, and this is my response to it? I see a lot of videos now where people, they go up into Capitol Hill or they go to these congressional meetings and they're like, I'm going to tell y'all, and they get the hollering. I'm like, bro, everybody want to be Martin Luther King, dog. Like, chill, bro. You being amped like that don't make it facts if it ain't facts. Now, it don't mean just because you amp like that, it ain't facts. What I'm simply saying is I hear people emotional sometimes talking about nothing. Because it sound like, okay, you just triggered. You just don't like him. Like, you don't like Trump, so everything you do is bad. Or you like Trump, so everything you do is good. This is one of the things that I don't enjoy about politics because I really don't think nobody's being that honest on either side. I'm like, to me, it feel like y'all all lying. Like, y'all all lying. Like, y'all be saying the same stuff. You hate him because of that, but then you don't talk about what he did. He got a controversy over this, but we ain't going to talk about his controversy over here. So it's like all them emotions that you feel, it don't make how you were feeling facts. All right. So that's my thing. The third